Hey, welcome back. My name, once again, is Mide. I'm a student at university and also one who is intrigued by learning and just the opportunity to learn and navigate life. So, right now, you're listening to a journal entry from me where I just talk about things that have happened in my life, things that I learned, personal development, and I'm sharing with you so that you can hear a story. Today's topic is going to be facing the fear of change. That's one thing that I had to experience today. But backtracking from there, how did we get here? So today has been a pretty nice day. Um, Overall, a pretty good day. I'm in Vienna now, which is really fun. I'm seeing one of my friends that I haven't seen in such a really, really long time. It has been 6 months since we saw each other. Um, he was he went on a study abroad program and then basically like left for a while. So for a whole semester, I hadn't seen him, and it was looking also like I wasn't going to see him for the summer either. But then by chance, we were both, or I was going to fly back to Norway. He was still going to be here, so there was an opportunity for us to all meet. And some other people are also meeting, so it'll be like four of us in the meeting and everything. Should be pretty hype. I'm looking forward to it. But so today was the flying day. Another day in the airport. If you've seen my other videos, oh boy, you know that the airport experiences have been interesting so far. So let's add some more things onto there. I was going to the airport, I woke up this morning and I actually slept for the first time. Usually, like the past 2, 3 days, I'd just been doing all nighters, just not really sleeping, just continuing throughout the night and getting up in the morning when I needed to in order to do whatever it is I need to do. Or not getting up in the morning, sleeping at like 2 p.m. and then waking up at 9 p.m. and then just continuing. Jet lag has been interesting. I've also been heavily editing the video for the 104-day challenge. Do get hyped. It's going to be a nice time, a really fun time. I'm excited to share it and reveal it when it comes. The video is going to come out on the 31st of May. I guess it makes sense because I've decided that the challenge will start on June 1st. So 31st of May comes out. People have like a day to look at it, and then June 1st, the next entry that I have would be actually about the challenge, which I think makes sense. I'm excited for it. The video looks very cool. I don't know if it actually will do well or people will see it, but if you are listening, then stick around for that. It's going to be a fun time. Anyway, so that's kind of something I've been editing for the past few days. Um, and so that was kind of what was on my mind for the most part. And then I finished editing it. I've uploaded it. It's scheduled now. I made some shorts about it too to kind of hype up the algorithm. It's going to be a pretty fun time. Um, and so now was the next thing, which was going to Vienna. And so now I'm here, made it successfully by God's grace, and I'm really glad to be around here. But the trip was not without its faults. I got to the airport, and so or actually this morning, I woke up and I knew, okay, there's things I have to do if I want to get to the airport. I need to check in, I need to pack my bags, I need to make sure I'm done with everything, I need to make sure, like, I'm ready for the day and whatnot. Make sure to respond to messages, check things, like, just be on track, since especially now that I've finished editing and whatnot. And so I got up and I started checking in and whatnot. And I was going through it, and then there was something I had to download to sign in. And so I was like, oh, you know what? I've downloaded this thing. Let me go and do something else real quick, and then I'll come back to it. And so even though today was a very intentional day, like as in I did a lot of things that were good, I might maybe not I maybe didn't do everything in the right order because let's fast forward a little bit to the airport, so or to right before I leave. So I'm packing a bit quickly this time because I kind of leave packing until not the very very last minute, but until the last thing essentially. Ideally should have done it earlier. But I'm packing. It's about 2:30. Planes leaving at 4:30, so we head over to the airport, and it seems pretty chill there. We get to the airport, and I'm going through, and so far so good. I forget that so far so good, and I step in and I realize, oh snap, I haven't actually checked in. But that should be fine, right? Like it's just checking in at the gate. And also this time I have a lot more time. Funnily enough, the same thing happened on the whole international flight trip where I had forgotten to check in, and you would have thought that oh like things would be different. It was the same, which is kind of what brings me to this topic as well. But so I get to the counter and there's no one at the counter, and I'm like, oh, today is a I guess today nothing is really happening. Like they're understaffed or whatever. There's only one guy at the KLM counter, and so I have to go up to him and I say, hey, I'm here to check in for Wiz, and the guy's like, yeah, usually they do online check-in like 3 hours before. If you don't check in, you have to pay €50, and I'm just staring and I'm like, oh, I forgot to check in. I forgot to check in. Straight there, we just sorted some things out with a bank, one of the banks that I used like yesterday. That was part of my journey. I don't remember if I journaled yesterday. I think I did. That was part of my journey anyway yesterday. When I went to Oslo, and and so I had some money, and immediately I had to just throw it away at things that I really didn't have to, that could have easily been avoided, very easily been avoided, and probably should have been avoided given the circumstance I just experienced previously. Anyway, so then 50 euros went by. I then go, I then acknowledge, then I go sit down. This is kind of annoying me. Like I'm going through security. Like I go through it, everything is fine, and then I get to the gate, and I'm just sitting there. I'm kind of annoyed because I acknowledge that this is something that could have been avoided had I planned a bit more, had I actually been a bit more intentional about the choices I was making in regards to what's going to happen, what do I need, when do I need, what exactly do I need when, prioritizing things based on their actual priority and based on when they need to be done. And I was in the process of checking in early in the morning, but I didn't see it through. That's another thing. I started, but then went to go and do another thing and then didn't finish it. And so I was kind of in a place where, so this brings me to the topic of today. There's more things that happened today, but this is actually where the topic really hits. And I realized that I tend not to, even though this thing happened, I have many times where things have happened or where I find myself in a bad position, especially as a result of complacency, not wanting to do something. But then afterwards, when I have the opportunity to avoid that situation, I don't want to change. And I've thought about this before, and it's something that's been recurring in my life. But I really had to sit down and ask myself, why is it that I don't want to change? And I was reflecting on it because it's not a case of, at times it was a case of, oh, I feel, at times it's perfectionism. Oh, I feel afraid that if I do change, I won't be able to do it properly. At times it's a feeling of being unable to, like, oh, not being able to do it at all. But what I realized is, um, I am worried of changing because sometimes I fear that if I do change, that I'll have to let go of things that I really want. I feel that change would lead to a life that has less liberty, even though technically it will likely lead to a life with more liberty. I don't want, what I want to do is avoid everything and procrastinate and not be proactive, because being proactive takes out time that I would usually have to do whatever I want to do and not be proactive. And then I have to be reactive in the very end. So being reactive almost seems more optimized, as in I get more free time personally, and so technically I should be reactive and just wait till the very end and the very last minute before I need to do something, before I change, before I actually do something about it. And countless times I've been in experiences where I acknowledge I should change. I mean, I've even documented them in these journal entries, the international flight, planning the day before, the packing and everything. The very first video, things need to change. Just the acknowledgement that I would wake up and not be very intentional about my day and all those things. I acknowledge that things do need to change, but I don't want to change because I don't want to let go of what I have. Let go of the good that I have or the nice things that I have. If I change, it would require, if I have 3 hours and I change, it would require me to tackle all those things that I don't tackle for 3 hours. AKA I would have 3 less hours for myself. But then the reality is that instead I'd have a much more well-rounded, fulfilled life. And I don't want to have that because I'm worried of how that would impact my life currently and the opportunity to do what I do. Case study YouTube and case study editing and whatnot. I reflected that my problem with YouTube wasn't that it took too long, nor was my problem that, I'm a slow editor. Those weren't my problems. My problem was actually that my problem actually was just that I didn't want to edit what I was editing. The second I started editing something that I did want to edit, those things weren't even a question. There's so many things I procrastinated these past few days in a pursuit of editing. I didn't even upload a journal entry because I was editing. And I put editing as the forefront thing. And I ignored everything else because I thought to myself, if I give myself time for anything else, then this editing will not get done. It's almost like It's almost like a struggle mindset, like, oh, like, um, I don't have the liberty and opportunity to do these things that I want to do. And so I have to do everything to try and protect it. I have to sacrifice everything to try and protect it. It's like Gollum and his shiny object from Lord of the Rings. It's like anyone who becomes consumed by one thing and just wanting that thing, desiring it. For me, it's my time. Holding on to my time so deeply, holding on to my personal thing, whatever I want to do, to the point where I don't let it go, and to the point where I cannot see, even if I can see the value add on the value proposition, the benefit of a different form of life. I don't want to have it because I am afraid. I fear change because I'm afraid that if I do change, then I'll have to let go of certain things. I'll have to be different, that I wouldn't be the same way. Once again, the same thing I mentioned in another entry. I have a burger, and I don't want to try a different burger because that'll require me to let go of that one for a moment. Very interesting analogy, but it's the truth. And so the question now is, so what do I do? What do I do now that I've acknowledged this? What does one do now once you acknowledge that you are afraid of changing? Low key, the only thing you can do is change. Like, the only thing you can do is choose to change. That's a lot more easier said than done, right? I mean, it's literally, there's only one thing to do. That's the literal reality. But it requires you to kill your flesh, to acknowledge where you are and acknowledge that that it isn't worth it. And I think the best way to acknowledge it, or one way that I had been reminded of to acknowledge it, is just to remember that the Lord will provide. There's something powerful in acknowledging that even if things were different, even if you changed, even if you went a different direction, you would still be okay. Your life wouldn't be miserable. You wouldn't have to deeply lose those things that you care about so much. Like, you still have the opportunity to live the life that you need to live. In fact, you might even live a better life if you change. And sometimes it just requires taking that leap of faith. I think for me, that's a big thing. I just have to one day do it. The same way how I started these YouTube videos, and the same way how I started talking about all these different kinds of things, one day I just have to do it. You just have to start, press the record button. Don't worry about this, don't worry about that. And there's so many things that I could worry about, so many things that I do worry about, even though I talked about this fact that I'm afraid of changing, but that hasn't changed. Like, I'm still afraid of changing. I still haven't completed necessarily the things I had to complete. And so I'm still in the same place. But eventually I do want to get out. Anyway, that was the main topic for today. Speed running through everything else that happened. So it was 2 flights. I got to the second flight. Actually, I did make a change there and then. I prayed. I talked to God. I was like, hey, God, I feel like I'm going about my life in a way where I'm never actually asking you how you want me to do anything differently. I have this notion of what I should do, and I don't want to accept anything else, because if I do change, it would require me to let go of certain things, to let go of my comfort, to let go of whatever. I was sitting there, and then God reminded me of God then said, do what you have to do about this whole flight. Figure out what's going on. I was flying to Krakow, and I didn't even know why I was flying to Krakow, and so in Poland. And so I end up like checking my emails, actually looking through the text messages that my friend has sent me. I saw that Krakow was a connecting flight to Vienna, and these were 2 separate airlines, so I would have to check in again. Lo and behold, the second airline had the same thing, where if I checked in before 4 hours, I have to pay a €50 fine. And so would you believe that in that moment, in realizing that change was necessary, I actually did make a choice, and I saved €50. Is what I thought. And then, long story short, I got to the airport, had a crazy conversation with the guy who just sat next to me, and then I had a conversation with him about Christianity, which was really cool. But and then got to the gate, and then they said my bag was too big, pay €65. So I guess I couldn't really escape that, but it gave hope that change is possible, and change can get you to the place that you need to go. I'm now here. I'm in Vienna, in a nice spot with my friend. I'm about to go to sleep. It's like almost 4 a.m. though. Yeah, it's been a crazy day. Anyway, thank you for listening to this entry. I will see you tomorrow, and get ready for the 104 days. Peace.